Zechariah 12. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces.
Prophets that say the world will come to an end in the Middle East, you know that, right? And we have weapons today that are so scary. When you look, I rebuilt them all. I rebuilt them all.
This is an Omega Watchman Media Group production. The views on this channel are those of Omega Watchman Media Group LLC, and not those of Google, YouTube, or their advertising affiliates. Due to the mature nature of this content, language, and depth, viewer discretion is strongly
And ye shall
advised.
hear wars, and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
November, what do you do differently, and how do you change this course that it seems we are on for World War III? We're heading into World War III territory.
And who orchestrated and executed October 7 genocide is gone. But this is not the end of the war. And my eyes are on Tehran, the head of the snake. As long as Ayatollah, the one who sent thousands of Iranian children to sweep minefields as a strategy, the same one who has sacrificed Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen, and he's willing to sacrifice the entire world for his political ambition. As long as he's still alive, we are going to have a problem in the Middle East. Today is not a day to celebrate. And I saw the presidential nominee, Kamala, saying regarding that this is over. It's not over. She's trying to win the votes. But this is not the end of the war.
If you are just joining us now, CBS News can report some breaking news out of the Middle East that Israel has launched some long-anticipated retaliatory strikes.
And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it.
In your patience possess ye your souls, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. For these be the days of vengeance.
Prophets that say the world will come to an end in the Middle East, you know that, right? In the Middle East, you know that.
Late breaking news from the Middle East. Israel is striking Iran tonight. It's in retaliation for Iran's attack earlier this month.
The times change, every day changes. Course that it seems we are on for World War III. How do you get us out of Ukraine? How do you stop what's going on in the Middle East? How do you put a stop to this? Well, it's a very, to me, it's an easy question.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
This is an Omega Watchman Media Group production.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has hailed what he's calling a new multipolar world order after welcoming world leaders to the BRICS summit. The meeting in Russia is the first since the alliance of emerging market nations took on 4 new members: Egypt, Iran, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates.
We also need to focus on peace and security.
We also need to focus on peace and security.
1 Thessalonians 5. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
in the world. The conflicts that continue to rage in the world are of great concern to us. The continuing conflict in Gaza, in the Middle East, resulting in the death of so many Palestinians, is a matter of great concern. We must continue to insist that there should be a ceasefire with immediate effect, and that there should also be recognition for the self-determination of the Palestinians. We have achieved progress on a number of areas, and this level of progress that we have achieved must encourage us and inspire us to do more. And it must also make BRICS to become an even more effective instrument for global peace and for global progress.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
उपरे घनैला युद्धर कड़ा बादल युद्ध ପାଇଁ प्रस्तुत हेबाकू पीएलए को चीन राष्ट्रपति सी जिनपिंग का निर्देश बेजिंग पक्षरु एही खबर प्रकाश पाइछि ताइवान रे व्यापक सामरिक ड्रिल परिवार किछि दिन परे
Conflict on the Korean Peninsula is now spilling into the war in Ukraine. South Korean military leaders say they're now considering sending weapons to Ukraine, while North Korea appears to already be sending troops to Russia.
Today, for the first time, the U.S. government confirmed that North Korean forces are in Russia to help fight Ukraine. The U.S. said 3,000 troops have traveled so far, what it called a serious escalation. It also reveals North Korea is expanding its alliance with Russia to take on the U.S. and its allies.
We're going to interrupt that report now for some breaking news. Iranian state TV is now reporting several strong explosions in Iran. Sources telling ABC News that this is the beginning of Israel's retaliation against Iran. This comes on the heels of that Iranian missile barrage into Israel. Most of those missiles intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defense system. Iran's attack came in part in response to Israel's killing of Hezbollah's longtime leader, Hassan Nasrallah, in Lebanon. And just last week, Israel forces killed the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar. Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz joins us now. And Martha, what are your sources telling you? We have been waiting for this to happen. We just did not know when it was going to happen, but it appears it is happening tonight.
It sure does. And in fact, Phil, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, have now put out a statement saying in response to months of continuous attacks from the regime in Iran against the state of Israel, right now, the Israeli Defense Forces are conducting precise strikes on military targets in Iran.
President Putin responding for the first time to what South Korea says are satellite images of North Korean troops at Russian bases. The US says North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, has sent weapons and now thousands of his soldiers to Russia.
Mr. President, satellite images are said to show North Korean troops here in Russia. What are they doing here? And wouldn't that be a massive escalation in the Ukraine war?
Far from denying it, Putin says Russia has a new strategic agreement with North Korea to protect each other. We are in contact with our North Korean friends, he told NBC News at a news conference. We'll see how that process develops. Ukraine says these images show North Korean soldiers given uniforms on a Russian base. The men speak Korean, but it's not possible to confirm when or where the footage was filmed. Putin was speaking after a Russian summit of emerging nations, including China's Xi Jinping, who he called a dear friend, India's Narendra Modi, and multiple US strategic partners. Putin declaring new possibilities in a meeting with Iran's new president, who described the relationship as strategic. Along with North Korea, Iran has also been supporting Russia's Ukraine war, Western governments say, sending drones and missiles. President Putin calling a claim in a new book by journalist Bob Woodward that he had private phone calls with former President Trump after Trump left office nonsense. Nothing like that has ever taken place, he said, in response to a question from NBC News. Nor is anything like this taking place right now.
Prophets say the world will come to an end in the Middle East, you know that, right? And we have weapons today that are so scary. When you look, I rebuilt them all. I rebuilt them all.
This is an Omega Watchman Media Group production.